In 1776, the American colonies were on the brink of a monumental shift. Whispers of independence grew louder as the British continued their oppressive rule. The Declaration of Independence would soon be signed, marking the beginning of a revolution. And in the midst of it all, an ordinary man like me, a simple shopkeeper, was swept up in a wave of change that would alter my life forever. My name is Samuel Turner. I ran a small shop in Boston, selling spices, tea, and cloth. My life was simple and predictable. I woke up every morning, opened my shop, and catered to the townsfolk's needs. Sure, the British taxes were a constant burden, but it was just something we learned to live with. I was content. Change, especially one as drastic as revolution, seemed far beyond my reach. But something started to shift. The talk of liberty and independence, spurred on by men like Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, reached even my small shop. Could it be possible? Could we truly break free from the most powerful empire in the world? I began attending secret meetings at the taverns, where like-minded men spoke of rebellion, and my desire for freedom grew stronger each day. But what could a shopkeeper like me contribute to such a grand cause? One evening, everything changed. The Continental Congress had declared our independence, and suddenly, I found myself volunteering for the militia. My wife, Sarah, begged me not to go, but how could I not? The cause was bigger than any of us. We trained under makeshift conditions. Farmers, blacksmiths, merchants, none of us were soldiers. I had never held a musket before, and now I was preparing to face the might of the British Army. The first time I faced the British was at the Battle of Bunker Hill. It was nothing short of chaos. They marched in perfect formation, their bright red coats stark against the landscape. We were ragtag, ill-prepared, but something burned within us. I remember the first volley of shots, the ground shaking beneath our feet. I stumbled, barely able to reload my musket. I thought I would die there, but somehow we held our ground longer than anyone expected. I could see the fear in the eyes of the men around me, but we were fighting for something greater, our future. Over time, we became more organized, more determined. The Declaration of Independence was being read aloud in town squares across the colonies, and we believed in its words. We were no longer just fighting against the British. We were fighting for the right to govern ourselves, to make our own decisions. With each battle, we grew stronger, and victories began to come our way. I saw the British retreat for the first time, and I felt a surge of pride. Maybe, just maybe, we could win this. But victory came with a heavy price. I lost friends, good men who stood beside me in those early battles. One of my closest companions, John Miller, a fellow shopkeeper, was shot beside me during a skirmish. He had a wife and 2 young boys. I remember the guilt that weighed on me as I delivered the news to his family. The war had taken so much from us, and as time went on, the toll grew heavier. My own shop had been looted, my family displaced. The dream of freedom seemed to demand more than we had ever imagined. When the war finally began to wane, I returned to Boston. The city had changed. It was quieter now, the streets no longer patrolled by British soldiers, but it wasn't the home I remembered. Many of the faces I had once known were gone, either lost to war or moved away. I reopened my shop, though business was slow. Life wasn't the same, and neither was I, but the weight of the revolution had left its mark on us all. Despite everything, I knew I was a different man. The Samuel Turner who had once been content with his small shop was gone. I had fought for something far greater than myself, something that would echo through history. The Declaration of Independence wasn't just a piece of paper to me anymore. It was a testament to our resilience, our sacrifice. We had built a nation from the ground up, and I was proud to have been part of it. As the war ended and the United States began to form, I found myself drawn to the new possibilities. I started selling new goods, American-made textiles, and coffee instead of British tea. People came into my shop not just to buy goods, but to discuss politics, to dream of a future where we could shape our own destiny. It was a strange and exciting time, full of opportunity. One evening, as I sat by the fire with Sarah, I couldn't help but laugh. "We fought the most powerful empire in the world," I said, "and now I'm selling coffee instead of tea." It felt absurd in a way, but that was the beauty of it. The world had indeed turned upside down, as the old song went. The revolution changed everything, not just for me, but for everyone around us. Neighbors who once feared British retribution were now bold, starting new businesses, speaking freely. We were no longer subjects of a distant king. We were citizens of a new nation, a nation built on the ideals of freedom and equality. The air was filled with hope and ambition. We could be anything, do anything. Looking back, I realized that the war wasn't just about independence. It was about changing who we were as people. I started as a simple shopkeeper, but I ended up as part of something far bigger. We all did. And every time I think about the men who stood beside me, the sacrifices we made, I'm reminded that sometimes ordinary people can change the world. The British may have lost their tea, but we gained something far more precious: our freedom.